Okay, so the last thing we have to do is put the clips in for the hold the battery box. So in my other one, I've got a timeline that I'll kind of go through the processes. So I've measured this line here with the inspect tool, and it is 10 millimeter, 20 millimeters. So I'm gonna try to find a center line. So I'm gonna draw a sketch on the top part of that box. And to find the center line is a little bit tricky, but you can come up from here, and then you know that you're on the center line. So I just made that a construction line because I don't want it to affect. And then I can take that tip and I can go 10 mils to the right, and I can make that a construction line as well. So if I go back and I want to measure, so I can use my inspect tool to measure from here to here, and so that's 10 mils as well. So when I'm making my box, I know that I'm going to actually use 2-point box. So I'm going to go up to the tops and I'm going to go over 10. So I can just hit 10. It's already at 2 till I moved it. I can tab over and force it to be 2. And so that's what we've got as a shape. From there we can do a measurement. So in this case, from this point to that point is 15.5 millimeters. So we can finish the sketch and we can extrude that box up 15.5 millimeters. Okay, so then I go back to my other object, and if I just go forward in time, you can sort of see that I just went up and over. So we need to know what size that is. We suspect it's going to be 2 mils. So that's actually 2.5 mils. And that one is length 10. So that makes some sense. So we're going to have to draw a box. So on this, we're drawing our sketch on that. And we're going to use our corner as a reference, and we're going to come down. So it's going to be 10 by 2.5 millimeters, and click finish. And if I remember correctly, it was 5.5 over. You can check that. So we want to click on that line with the inspect tool. It's actually 4. So where are we? So we're going to bring it over 4. And that's good. So now we just have to fillet it. So I'm going to take the orbit tool down at the bottom, and I'm going to rotate the object. I'm going to click here and I'm going to pull it out, and it actually works really well at 4 because it just happens with that length of the surface. We're going to click OK. We're going to click on the top, do the same thing. So this one I think is a 6 mil. Okay, so now something that we haven't done yet is mirroring 3-dimensional objects. So let's see if we can do that fairly easily. So under the create menu, actually maybe it's under modify now. Yeah, so we're out of the sketch menu, we're kind of in the solid menu, and we're going to mirror. And instead of faces, we want features, I believe. And this one might be crucial to get just right. So features, select object. It's not really being helpful. Let's try something else. Faces, maybe. Here's features, that's looking better. So hopefully this works on the mirror plane. We're going to turn the origin on, and you can sort of see which planes they are. So this is actually the YZ. It might be different for yours. And that looks like it. So that was nice. You could always draw these. You don't have to mirror them that way. So if you wanted to draw it again, you could. Here's a handy little trick. Let's try to do a construction. So this is something that I just learned a little while ago. So offset plane. So if I wanted to offset this plane and I wanted to bring it to the middle, remember that this is 15 mils from the center, if you remember back. So that should actually help us with this feature. So now if we go back to our mirror, we can pick this object up as a feature, and the mirror plane is this one, and let's see if that worked out. Kinda looks like it worked out. There's a weird top missing off that. So let's go back and select the top of that. I lost my command, so mirror, feature, sometimes it's easier just to draw it over again. So the click sound is when I do a move, I have to get out of that tool. So you'll see that it's grayed out here if I click once. If you click twice, you lose the whole setup. And let's see if that worked out. Okay, so I got an error. So let's just draw it again. So I could create my sketch on that plane. So I'm going to hit escape to get out of my tool. I'm going to draw a sketch right on this face. I guess I'll show you how to do it the hard way. So I can take from my center line, it's not clicking. Okay, so there's my center line. I know that it's going to be 10 millimeters over. Okay, and these are going to be construction lines, so and we know that this is going to be 10 mils. Okay, and we could go the other way, either drawing or mirroring. So this time we're going to grab all the object boxes. We should have 4, so we got 4. Grab the line that we wanted to mirror it. Okay, at this point we're going to finish our sketch. And we're going to extrude those upwards. I'm going to select that. Okay, so now we got our both. For some reason I think it's 15.5 up, but we will check that. So inspect that line, yeah, 15.5. And then we can spin it around. We're going to draw on that surface. Now you notice that it spins it around, and that's not exactly what we want, but So I believe this was 2.5. No, that was not 2.5. That was 10. That was 10. Tab, this is 2.5. Okay, and we'll draw one here as well. So we're at 10, we're going to tab to 2.5. And I believe that these came out 4 mils. We'll move it so we can see it better. Now you got to hit escape if this is, and we're going to go 4. And then we can do our fillet on the outside because we're faced this way. And that was 6. You can see how skinny that looks on the inside. And this should be pretty much our last one. So fillet. And that was 4. And let's take a look at it. So that looks really good. So it's always a good time to save it. And there's just one more feature that we have, and you can see that in my example I didn't do it exactly. So this looks like the last sketch. Okay, so these are holes to put your wire in. So they're 5.5 millimeters high. They're 2 millimeters wide, and they're 4 millimeters from center, and there's 3 of them. So I think it's 3 millimeters from the top. So when we draw that, we want to have a sketch on this top surface. We want to have a line that goes down from here. Now, if it's not working, you can actually go and create a projection. So if you click on this, you either got specific entities or bodies. I'm going to choose bodies because that works better. And then what that does is it sort of creates this shape on your sketch, which isn't obvious, but it's important. And I think it was 3 mils down. You can hit escape, make that a construction line. And this was the center box. And it was 5.5 wide, tab over 2 millimeters. So now there's another tool I'll teach you, and that's the rectangular pattern. So this will actually go in a whole bunch of different directions. So let's grab the shape that we want repeated, and let's just sort of show you what it does, and then we'll do what we want it to do. So you can sort of see that it goes in one direction or another. Now when I move this, you can see that this 11 changes right here. So we actually want to get that down to 0, or sort of 1, I guess. And then this part changes. So you've got a couple options. So this one is the quantity, which is 3, and then this is the distance. So these aren't super crucial as far as how far they're apart, but if they're touching, that would be -4. And so if we had a 2 millimeter spacing, that would be right. Maybe 8 would be 2. Yeah, so probably 8. So we're going to click OK, and we're going to finish. We're going to go to the home button so we can see it on the side, and then we can just do the last maneuver. Now you'll sort of see that everything turned blue, so you can either hit the X to unselect, or you can just select it again. Now once again we hit it again, we selected too much, so, and now we can cut. Remember that we can choose just all cut, and I think that that finishes our shape. Okay, so now a good thing would be to put your name in it. So if we were to put our name in it, you maybe want to have it on the front side. So you create a sketch on the plane that you want your name. You go down to text. You click where you want it. Drag up. Put your name. So in this case, my name would be Winters. And the height. So we're going to make it so just 5 mils maybe. And you can change the orientation. So this would be center aligned, which looks good. And I think you can move this box around. Maybe you can move it around after. So you can move it around after you close that box. So there's probably center there. So now one of the things that I've noticed with people is that they have trouble extruding this. So when I hit home, it twisted to a direction that I didn't want. So I can go to orbit and I can turn it to what I want. I can hit escape to get out of anything kind of tool. And I want to finish my sketch. I want to zoom in and I want to extrude this. So this happens to be extruded, so going up or down, it doesn't matter. Actually, it does matter for this one because we're going to actually print it this face down. So -1 is about as good as it gets for just being clear enough to read but not causing a problem in your diagram. Okay, so now that you've got it finished, you can turn your bodies on and off just to make sure that you got the right one. You hit right click. Now you'll notice that I'm still in some operation, so I'm going to hit a couple times, escape a couple times, and I don't know, we'll go home. So we want this body. I don't know what's going on here. So escape. Maybe I gotta save it. So I'm hitting save. Hopefully this works. There we go. Okay, so I don't know what I was doing, but the secret is to open up your bodies. You're gonna turn it on and off just to make sure that it's the right body that you're copying. You're going to do a right click on body 1 in this case, and you're going to save it as an STL. This should be set at medium, and you're going to have a file. So in this case I have a file that's called SVG, but I also have a folder called STLs. And so in this case, this would be March 6th, hand controller. Okay, that should be it.